I'd like to call to order the Townsend Conservation Commission August 10th, 2022 meeting. And I have a roll call, please.
Pat Demo here.
Colby Streeter here.
James Gates.
Ann LaCoya.
Kevin Smith.
Joan Savoy.
Linda, you're muted.
Linda Macc here.
Great. Thank
Hi,
you.
Linda.
Hey there, sorry I can't be there. I just have a sore throat, so I didn't want to risk it.
We appreciate that.
Thank you. Good evening, Joan. Hi, Joan.
I don't
Hi,
think
how are you, Kevin?
Evening.
I'll be there. I'll be there in the flesh next time, I promise.
This meeting is being recorded. Is anyone else recording? Chairman's additions and deletions. I'd like to add 3.5 Mhcc invoice that needs to be approved. And then I'd like to get a consensus on 3.3 vote for officers. I personally prefer if everyone was present for us to do that. I just would like everyone's, if anyone has any input.
Well, that's where it should be. You shouldn't be doing up those, I don't believe.
Do you mean present in person and not on Zoom?
Yes.
Correct.
Sorry,
Okay.
Linda.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that, yeah.
I agree. I think we should wait till everybody's here.
Would you like me to make a motion to extend or
Joe,
there's no
well-
need to?
I'm fine, thank you. That's good.
Everyone on this side of the table in agreement?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Kevin, just make a motion so we can be formal about it.
I'll make a motion that we postpone the voting of officers until everyone on the board is here present
Second.
in person.
And second, real quickly for discussion, is everyone besides a possible sickness or emergency, is everyone planning on attending the next meeting, which is August 24th?
Yes.
In person.
Yes.
I might be down the Cape.
Okay,
I might go away
Lucky
there.
you.
I know.
well, might be in, well, if it's still up in the air, then we'll hopefully do it then. If not, we can,
Okay,
if you're okay with that, Linda.
I'm fine with that. I'm also fine with you continuing as chair and everybody continuing as they are, so.
You sweet.
So we'll hold off on it.
Don't change anything as far as I'm concerned. Yeah,
We're not gonna kick you to the curb, Jim.
We need a roll call vote. Patricia? Yeah, yes or no on postponing voting for officers?
Yeah, Pat Demo, yeah.
Yes. Colby Streeter, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Ann LaCoya, yes.
Kevin Smith, yes.
Linda Macc, yes. Where's
Savoy,
Jen?
yes.
Great, great.
Yes.
They're still voting.
1.4 chairs report. I talked to Jim Smith this afternoon and he has made temporary repairs to the pedestrian bridge on Route 13. So it all went
Nice.
well. You know, with minimal disturbance, and he has a little bit of brush he was going to clean up that fell into the stream bed, but other than that, they're still working on a permanent repair, and they'll come before us when it's time.
Good.
Right.
Moving on, 1.5 agents report. Hi, Jessica.
Hey everyone.
Hey,
All right,
Jess.
so this
Hi,
is,
Jessica.
hi. So this covered July 25th to August 5th. I was out August 1st through 5th, so some things on here were completed by Matt. Building permit interdepartmental signatures for 7 Brookline Street, 15 Tyler Road. That was the RDA we had last time, so I just put a note on there about their determination of applicability And then Matt signed off on 10 Cooperage Way last week. We completed the referral for 22 Main Street, and I did not have any Board of Health interdepartmental signatures. The RDA for 46 Emory Road tree cutting for safety concerns at the Rod and Gun Club, that was put on hold back in March. We officially received an email indicating their withdrawal of their application on July 29th. Request for OOC extension for 27 Skills Lane is still being continued. We're still awaiting one compliance item, which is proof of recording of their OOC. We had the RDA for 15 Tyler Road. The site visit happened on July 20th, and then the determination of applicability was issued on August 2nd. I added comments to the Towns and Wetland Bylaws 138-3 through 138-7. We have an NOI for 6 Shirley Road, DEP 308-0692. We had a site visit on July 27th. Matt and I attended an EDEP training with our Central Region Circuit Rider on July 25th.
Nice.
We attended a training and introduction for the upcoming e-permitting that will slowly but surely be implemented throughout the town. I received an agent consultation request to visit 9 Gilchrist Road on July 29th for an upcoming pool installation. Also last week, we had an intake for an RDA for 9 Gilchrist Road pool installation. And then at the tail end of last week, we had the emergency project for the pedestrian bridge on Brookline Street, and you guys kicked that off on Friday. And that's it.
Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Does
you.
anyone have any comments or questions?
What was the training about? What was the focus of the training you took?
It was sort of like, it was almost similar to the introduction to conservation commissioners that you guys take, but more at a state level. So it was an overview of Wetlands Protection Act, and then pretty heavy administrative review of timelines and our legal requirements for turnarounds and legal ad postings, and then appeal periods and how those go and how to try to avoid those. So it was close to 2 hours. So we're trying to figure out if there might be an abridged like 30-minute one for you guys. But a lot of it also was just more of the stuff that we are paid to handle on your behalf. So
Right.
not necessarily something that you guys need to have at a meeting either. So we're kicking that around.
That's great. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, cool.
Well,
And it's nice to make connections with DEP and people there in case you have any
Yeah,
questions.
yeah, and I guess that opens up to our circuit rider. Her name is
Yeah.
Mia Mcdonald. She is phenomenal, and she answers all of my questions the same business day. So if you guys ever have any technical or administrative or anything questions that Matt and I cannot answer or we're not available to answer, you are more than welcome to reach out to her. She is there as a glorified conservation agent resource for you guys.
Great. Thanks, Jessica.
Yep. So now 7:10, 2.1, notice of intent. DEP number 308-0692, Towns and Wetlands Bylaw -2022-133. I don't see a legal notice, Jessica, to read.
Do we need to open it?
Yes.
Yeah, why don't you guys, I have the legal notice in the Google thing. Sorry. Joan, do you read those typically as the clerk? / do you have access to Google Drive right now?
Well, We need to open a hearing first.
Yes,
so
Mike, I think my connection's unstable, but I can pull it up.
Okay,
There you
yes,
go.
why don't you guys open the hearing and then Joan can read the legal ad.
So need a motion to open the hearing and then a second.
I'll make a motion to open the hearing on, for the applicant Lorraine Blackwell, 6 Shirley Road, for a proposed project for septic system replacement.
DEP 308-0692. I will second that.
And we'll call, please.
Pat Jones, yep.
Colby Stringer, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Ann McQueen, yes.
Kevin Smith, yes.
Linda Mac, yes.
Jones, yes.
You do it again, Joan, you faded out.
Yes. That's, I'm thinking somebody else might want to read the legal notice.
That's fine, I have it pulled up.
Thank you.
Or do you want to read it, Colby?
Sorry.
Colby's gonna read it.
I'll read it.
Thank you, Colby.
Thank you, Colby.
Appreciate it.
Town of Townsend Conservation Commission, legal notice pursuant to the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act and the Townsend Wetlands Bylaw. The Townsend Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, August 10th, 2022 at approximately 7:10 p.m. The hearing will be held virtually via Zoom meeting and in person at Town Hall. On a notice of intent filed with the Conservation Commission by Lorraine Blackwell. The property is located at 6 Shirley Road, Assessors Map 32, Parcel 23. The proposed project is for a septic system replacement. Part of the construction will take place within 100 feet of a bordering vegetated wetland, and all will be within the 200-foot riverfront area. Jessica Gonzalvo, agent, Townsend Conservation Commission.
Okay, and I
Thank you.
double check the butters list. It matches the mailings. So, Doug Smith is here representing the applicant,
And Mary Ann DePinto.
and Mary Ann. Hello.
Hi there. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Great. See you. It's like old home week here.
I know, right?
For you, Douglas?
I'm going to mostly turn it over to Doug since I did the paperwork part of it, and I have the regulations in my head kind of thing. This is a repair. It's in the riverfront area, and Doug did a good job of trying to squeeze it in and make it conform as best as possible, and he can go into detail with that. Take it away.
Yeah, okay, yes, we got the flags that I put in for the river protection. It went from the culvert crossing the road, starting at B1 all the way to B15. And then there was a small wetland area that was flagged out as the BVW. I was able to put the septic system 80 feet away, way up on the hill. A really good spot where it's
Hey, Doug, can I interrupt you for a second?
sure.
Do you if we give you screen sharing, can you pull up the plan?
I don't know if I can.
So can you refer to the plan that we all got, what you're referring to when you're speaking? That would be helpful. Okay. All right.
I might be.
I just gave Doug Smith the co-hosting capabilities if he wants to screen share.
We're gonna get the real one.
Would it help if I pulled it up on screen
Yeah, that
share?
would.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
great.
that would be great. Thank you.
Okay. Hartley, can Jessica have permissions?
You just got it, Jessica.
Thank you. Let me, oh geez. I cannot connect to
Section,
our,
Doug?
Yeah.
Pearl Brook?
Yeah.
It's got me too, in the past.
It's kind of a neat system because it's up on a hill in Belfast.
all right, so let's do
No,
this.
this is
And then
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right,
Thank you,
let me know if you guys can see
Oh,
that.
Oh, good,
Yep.
there it is.
Got it.
Awesome. Beautiful.
Okay, so to continue, now you can see the top of the bank of Trout Brook and also the wetland area. The septic tank and pump chamber will be able to be 50 feet away, and the septic system itself 80 feet away. And that's basically the maximum that we could possibly get in putting it in the best soil conditions that that lot has. It's sand and gravel, very deep deposit up on the hill. There's really no other place that it would fit. And what I'll do is I'll stake out the wattles so the installer can put those in first, and then get that to be approved by the commission, and then the work on the system can start. If there's any other questions, let me know, but that's basically existing 4-bedroom house. It's being sold. It did not pass the Title V, so it has to have this system put in. And I think I maximized everything for distances and made it the best we could possibly do on this piece of property, which is a little under an acre.
Yeah.
An entirely front.
Beautiful job, Doug. That's tucked right up in the corner. You couldn't slide it an inch further away from the wetlands.
Thank
You
you.
know, right, sitting right in there, nestled in there, nice.
Yeah.
And, you know, it really, you kept everything away. It's nice and clean. And under that Trout Brook, it's caused me a little problem across the road at one time. So it's kind of a tricky little spot down in there, but there's good soil there. That's good.
Yes.
That must have been just beautiful sand and gravel. Looking here, it looks beautiful, you know. Nice
So
job.
did this system actually fail, or was it a sale and then they realized it was
Well,
a system?
Yeah, Title V inspection happened, and what they found out is you had the existing 4-bedroom house, then the people, and they had a deck in the back, which they turned into a family room. No one knew, this is 25 or 30 years ago, they built some of those additions right over the septic system. So,
Oh
you know, it was on
my gosh.
post. So when the Title V inspector showed up, he saw where the tank was and saw where the D-box was, and then realized the whole rest of the system was under part of the dwelling. So
Wow.
obviously that didn't pass. So my job was to find a new place for it, maximum compliance that we could
Yeah.
get.
So this was initiated because of a sale of the house? Is that?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
it is
okay.
getting sold, yes.
Got it. Good, good.
Do we have any questions from any of the commissioners?
Hey, this is a nice clean design. Put in the only spot, in my opinion, that it can be put in, period. You know, he's tucked it up tight. It's right to the inch as far away from the, as away from the wetlands as he can get. You know, he's 80 feet. You know, I mean, I don't
Considering
see
that
any
you
problems at all here.
yeah,
It's
considering that
repair, so you
Yeah.
gotta get it to work anyway.
Yeah, it's not a,
there was no place else to put it.
No?
No.
That's it.
Is this a town well, or do they have a private well?
It's on town water,
Okay,
municipal water.
good. Looks good.
so, Jessica, what is, what kind of input do you have and what's the recommendation?
Yeah, so I mean, I agree with everything you guys have been saying too, especially with Kevin, that, yeah, this is the only feasible spot for it. This absolutely minimizes environmental impact exactly where it's planned to go. The remaining constraints come from the slopes and the property boundary setbacks. So it's in the best location. I think there's just a few trees that are proposed to be cleared. But yeah, obviously it needs to be done. I think this is the least environmentally destructive place to put it. So I would recommend issuance of an order of conditions, just a standard one. Unless you guys see any special conditions that you'd like to put in, but otherwise I think just the standard
That's the
one that we give out for Wetland Protection Act and Townsend Wetland Bylaw would suffice here.
The typical repair on a small lot. You know, he did a fantastic job stopping it right up in the corner. I think it's the only place it could go. It's the least intrusive place on the lot that they could go, keep the distance off the wetlands. And, you know, it's pure sand and gravel in there. I happen to have a little experience in that part of town with soil.
I'd like to make a motion that an order of conditions be given to DEP 308-0692 TWB 2022-133.
We have a second.
I'll second that.
Any discussion before we vote?
I would just
Roll
like to
call.
say for the record that the delineation looked good too.
Thank you, Jessica.
Yes, Ann and I went on the sidewalk and Doug had gone down into the brook and measured out everything.
Yeah,
He's very diligent and thorough with that. So, all right, we need a roll call vote.
Pat Jamal, yes.
Colby Streeter, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Ann LaQuia, yes.
Kevin Smith, yes.
Linda Mac, yes. Well,
Joan Savoy, yes. Savoy, yes.
Mac, yes. In case we're over, are we speaking over?
Looks like we got them all.
And now we need a motion to close the hearing.
Make a motion to close the hearing on DEP 308-0692 TWB 2022-133.
Second,
Roll call vote, please.
Pat Jamal, yes.
Colby Streeter, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Ann LaQuia, yes.
Kevin Smith, yes.
Joan?
Savoy, yes.
Linda Mac, yes.
Great.
We got through.
All right, great. So we have
Mary Ann,
20
thank you.
Yeah,
21
thank you all.
days to issue the order of conditions to you guys. So I'll get that drafted and we can sign it hopefully next week and then have it to you by the end of the month.
Thank you very much.
Well,
Thank you,
and I
Mary
guess-
Ann.
Have a good night.
Marianne.
Bye
Bye,
now.
guys.
Send it to
Bye.
Lorraine or to somebody else.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
The order of conditions, the original hard copy that's going to be recorded
Yeah.
at the
Doug,
registry.
should it go to the landowner or?
Yeah, why don't we have that go right to Lorraine Blackwell?
Okay, can do.
that's
And I'll
the fixture
send
we
everyone a
wrote at.
PDF. Okay.
That would be great.
All right. Great.
Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good night.
Okay, see you later.
Thank you. That's done. 3.1, request for OOC extension 27 Scales Lane to TWB 2019-156. I'd like to see a motion to continue this until further notice. I don't see why it needs to reappear and on our agenda until Jessica says so.
I second that motion.
I'll make the motion. Because the chair can't make the motion, so I'll make the motion to do that.
Is she making the motion?
Yes. So, and second.
I second
She
it.
seconded. She
Yeah,
seconded.
seconded.
All right. We need a roll call vote on that.
Pat Jamal, yes.
Colby Streeter, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Ann LaQuia, yes.
I must abstain because of my relationship with that particular property address.
Joan?
Yeah, Joan Savoy, yes.
Linda Mac, yes.
So Jessica will wait until you put it back on there, so then you know, we don't have to keep going in circles.
All right, that sounds good. I'll just keep it on my agent report at least until we're ready to bring it back up.
Okay. 3.2 TWB, chapter 138-3 through 138-7, review and discussion. Jessica, do you want to pull it up, talk to us about it?
Hey, Jessica,
Yes.
it was so interesting when I opened this on my other device, a little thing popped up and says, cannot find any more grammatical errors. So you did a good job.
Yes. I'm that person when I edit things. I hate myself for it too.
Well, we love you for it, so thank you.
All right, so let me get this bad boy up. All right, can everyone see it?
Yep.
All right, so similar to our last meeting when we covered -1 and -2, we won't read through it in detail, but we can just walk through the sections. I've just added in some minor clarifications, I guess, for connectivity between our bylaws and our regulations, which are chapter 150. But then, yeah, as we're going through, if you guys thought of any questions or any wording clarifications that you think might be helpful for residents or applicants or engineers reading through our bylaws, please feel free to bring those up.
What we can do, Jessica, is you can go through each section of the chapter and then we can have a brief discussion or regarding it, if you're okay with that.
Yep, yeah, that's fine.
Is everyone else okay with that? Just
Yep.
so we don't get too far ahead of ourselves and we're not interrupting. Okay.
Great. So 138-3, emergency projects and land and agricultural use. Kind of a weird combination to have in general, but I'd rather not touch it. All I did was in there add in where it's going to be defined, where the land devoted to agricultural use is actually defined, and that's found in our regulations, chapter 150, section 3. So that's just some clarification that I threw in there.
I think the reason that they're put together is because we're very limited as to what we can do in both of those situations. So they probably put them together.
Good.
Because land and agricultural use, we really don't have much oversight to unless they're expanding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah, we could use as much consolidation as possible.
Right.
All right. Any other comments? If not, I'll move on to -4.
Anyone else? We good? Keep going?
I'm good.
Pat, good?
See, Jessica?
Yeah.
I was good with that.
Oh, great. Good. Okay, 138-4, acquisition of real estate with pre-existing violation. Basically, it just means that a new buyer of a property takes on whatever history of the property stands. So because this definitely has the legal tune to it, I did not touch it. But if you guys have any questions, we can go over those real quick.
We've bought property in the past, Jessica, and with issues, and it follows the chain of ownership.
Yeah. All right, moving on to 138-5, rules and regulations. This one, Mike, if you're there, I might need you to chime in because I always have a hard time interpreting this one. I think it's stating that we have, you, as the Conservation Commission, have the authority after correct, public notice and public hearing to issue changes to the regulations which is chapter 150 as needed. But I think if you don't follow the right notification and protocol, then they are invalid. But again, quite legal, so I did not change it.
Right.
All right, I'll move on. 138-6, burden of proof. Again, pretty legal, but I think just to layman's terms, this one, it means that it's the applicant's responsibility to
Yeah.
provide any and all evidence that the project that they are proposing is the least environmental impactful design they can have. And they're the ones who are responsible to provide evidence as such. That is not the role of the Conservation Commission or town staff.
Right. And I think this one is important because, and it's a fine line when you have a small project, you know, just somebody who owns a house and they don't know to do certain things, like have a plan. It's tempting for our staff to go in and do the delineation. And we really shouldn't, because it's really not our role. We're there to confirm the delineation that they had someone do. So I think this is a good one, an important one.
Right. So it does there at the end too show that if you do not feel, you as the commission do not feel that the applicant is presenting all the information and that you need to make your decision, that you do have the right to postpone the hearing to the next meeting or until we receive more complete information.
Yeah.
Pretty much standard to continue the hearing anyways if there's issues, isn't it?
And yeah, and Jessica usually will call it as she sees it. If she doesn't see it complete information, like with the parking lot expansion for the rail trail and historic society. You said it right in the field, but you guys don't have enough information here.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, that's a lot of my role too, is to make sure an application, in my opinion, that an application is complete so
Right.
that we don't take, 20 minutes and I put in all sorts of effort for it just to get continued.
Yeah.
So,
But at the same time, you going out and doing core samples to just verify stuff. I know this happened on Tyler Road, but if you want to do a project, it's already costs so much to do a project and to have to hire an engineering firm to come in and either update your plan or provide a plan, because most people don't even have plans. That's not $1,000 task. When was the last time you did it? I think mine was $5 grand.
$5 grand. We figure $5 grand on every job for that when we know it's gonna be there.
Yeah.
Well, by the time the engineer gets done billing us, it's 5 or better.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm not saying we shouldn't require.
But if you
it, we
take a
need
little
to.
homeowner, situation where, I'm not gonna use the swimming pool example, maybe I should, Jessica went out. And the wetlands are pretty clearly defined,
Yeah, and I was there with her.
delineated in years past, hadn't seemed to change. You're doing as a public servant, you're helping the taxpayer by, if it's something pretty simple that you can say, yeah, this is where it is, and we'll call it that. At least that's my perspective. Jessica, in our case, we're getting engineers involved, but in a homeowner's case, some simple thing he wants to, put up a shed or something, you see it all the time. You're trying to help the taxpayer, you're not trying to hurt them.
Right.
Although they do need to have some kind of a drawing, as I've said in the past. They can't just, and that's what she does. She makes sure everything is there. So when she goes on site.
I agree, Linda. I agree.
It doesn't need to be an engineered plan, depending on this, the scope of what it is. But I think we do need to have a certain standard of what people need to give us to make Jessica's job easier too,
I think that's a valid point, Linda, and I think that maybe we should refer to other towns or look at MACC resources to and compare to other towns and see what they require.
Valid point.
I
You know,
agree.
so we're not just saying, you gotta have this, but no other town does, but other towns say you have to have this. And I know we have a right to require hire a consultant at the applicant's
Expense, yeah.
so I think that's a valid point about having plans, and I think we need to figure out or determine how expensive we want to be with that requirement, but I don't disagree, and I think, I don't know what Pat or Colby or Ann,
Oh, I agree with what you're saying.
I'm a plan guy, I like to you know, sometimes a napkin drawing will work, and
I know.
Well,
But,
right. But I think that's what you want to do,
you know,
'cause we won't-
I think that we need to have a standard and just
I'm trying to turn them on.
Yeah, I agree.
That makes sense.
well, I don't know your thoughts, Jessica, on
I
it.
think
and-
it's silent.
Yeah.
James,
I mean, I
Oh,
agree.
sorry. Oh, Jessica first, and then
Oh, no, I agree. I mean, I'm a little biased because I get to spend 2 or 3 weeks learning about this project, and you guys just get to talk about it, you know, for 10 or 15 minutes one night. So I'm a little biased that I definitely have more time to understand what's going on in a site visit. I'm on all of those. So, but yeah, of course, even a simple plan, like you said, it doesn't need to be anything done in CAD or GIS, but I think it always helps. And then it just helps for, you know, 3, 5, 10 years down the line when the next
Exactly.
conservation agent suckers trying to do, you know,
Yep.
recap of what's going on, and they have no idea because we didn't have
Right.
any plans. So
Exactly.
that's what I'm running into a lot now. So
It's
Yeah.
homeowner. The
You
next
also-
homeowner.
you also.
But it's,
pull
you know-
GIS.
Joan has her hand up. Before I start talking, I wanted Joan to say what she.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, we didn't mean to look over you.
If you go on, I'm sorry, the whole area here the whole town has terrible internet, I'm sorry. If you go on the mass.gov site, the DEP, they've got the river protections, and they basically they're all saying that the preponderance of evidence has to be on the applicant. Because, you know, if you think about it, who else, they're the ones that are applying. Are we supposed to supply the preponderance of evidence?
No,
It's either us or
Yeah.
them.
and it's them.
It's right.
So that's why, well, that's why I said the mass GIS,
Yeah.
because you can overlay it with the endangered species, the protected species, the wetlands, the floodplains. And you could print it and draw on it too. That's
Yeah.
an idea.
And the James too, the FEMA floodplain maps are often wrong. I've been alerted to that fact, and they can be one can ask for them to be reevaluated.
I did that at my own property. We
Yeah.
had them recertify it. So, and I think ours was 2010 was the most recent, but yeah, they all, but it's 100-year floodplain, and so I think we need to, it might not be in the bylaw, it might be in the application process, but to make a determination or set forth the criteria required.
They're mapping 500-foot flood plains
Right.
at this point.
Because the 100-year is a reoccurring. It happens.
Right, the
very
extreme
often.
weather everybody's having.
Yeah,
Thank you, Ann.
yeah.
Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Ann. Thank you, Joan.
thanks, Kevin.
Are we
All
good
right.
to move on?
Let's move on. Yeah. All right. So this is the fun one. I knew we'd blow through the other ones. Definitions. Again, I'm not going to read through them all. Under 4, this is the big one really, is the alteration. So that's what we require an application for whenever someone is proposing to alter a wetland or a stream or a buffer of either of those resources.
Yeah.
So under A, the removal, excavation, or dredging of soil, sand, gravel, substrate, or aggregate material of any kind. Substrate, I've always just understood it to be that that's like the actual stream bed material, whether it's cobbles or sand or whatever. So that's more of like the umbrella term that I've heard. So I wanted to add that in, but I'm not sold on it. But I think it's just sort of another simple clarification to add in. It doesn't have any significant change.
Mm-hmm.
Continuing under alter, the drainage or disturbance of the water level or water table, the dumping, discharging, or filling with any material which could degrade the water quality or impact aquatic habitat.
Good.
That's one of the big key factors for wetlands throughout the WPA. So I wanted to make sure that that is captured.
Good.
Okay, so here's, I'm getting sweaty. So here's the big one, the buffers. So this one is,
You
just
hear
the
that
number.
sigh?
I don't know I can't see your faces right now, so I'm just gonna
No, who it
pretend.
was.
It was myself. Yeah, so the area extending 100 feet here, all I did was, instead of spelling out 200, I just put in the number 200 to be consistent and make it easier. So, okay, so I guess I'll preface this one a little bit, number 7 here. So our 35-foot no disturb buffer is mentioned only in chapter 150 regulations.
Right.
And it is worded a little poorly. We do know per town council that the wording of it does hold up enough
Mhm.
to be a 35-foot no disturb definition, but it's just unclear, and obviously a little hot button. So back at the town meeting in May, there was a warrant to propose a new bylaw section, not in this location, but under 138-1 under the application section. There was new wording to put in a 35-foot no disturb buffer zone section or couple of paragraphs. So that did not pass, as we know. But I also didn't like where it was proposed to be placed in our bylaws. So I thought it made sense to have clarification of that underneath our buffer zone definition. So I threw that in here. And what I did was kind of make an abridged version of the original language that was proposed back in May for town meeting, and just tried to simplify it a little bit here. So it talks about that it's the 35-foot horizontally expanding out of the edges of the resource area. It talks about its purpose, that you guys have the authority to approve or deny a waiver request. And then it talks about lands that are already existing within that no disturb zone, how to handle that. So this is very preliminary, my take on it. Again, I really compacted the language that was initially proposed. So would need to definitely have further discussions with our town council about this, but just in terms of clarifying and helping our residents understand what the 35-foot no disturb means, I just thought this was a good place for it to go.
Jessica,
Yes.
town council has, I do know Adam is well aware we have a 35-foot no disturb, but has he seen this particular verbiage?
No, this is what I pulled that he had written previously.
Oh,
So I am actually meeting with him on August 30th, I think, which at the end of the month, he's coming to town hall. So this is something, as long as you guys are on board with it, this is something that I would like to just discuss with him. So.
I propose
Go ahead.
we don't make any definitive decisions until Adam, you've conferred with Adam.
Yeah, no, of course not. No, I'm not like a legal representative by any means, so I'm sure this would get tweaked or just completely removed. But
Well, I suggest that only because it is town council and it's okay, it's town council and he knows what time it is.
No.
So just my question, what I find challenging about putting it in the bylaw is because, and this was the case 35 years ago, that if you put it in the bylaw, then it has to go to town meeting, and then everyone gets up in arms and they come and they say, no, we're not going to let them do that to us. They don't understand what we're saying, or these paranoid ideas get out there, and all of a sudden it's like, no. And that, I think, is what probably happened before, and why it didn't pass. And one of the reasons why we never, back in the day, we never put this in the bylaw is for that reason alone. We kept it in the rules and regs so that we could have a hearing and people could come and they could state their position on it. And then we could put it in the bylaw and it could be written the way we felt it needed to be done. So part of me is like, why are we doing this? Why would we get the whole town upset when it's been in our rules and regs forever? Just clarify it there,
yeah, that's a good idea.
Because I just feel like, as a conservation commission, we don't want to be perceived as being, what's the word, like contrary, or we're trying to make life difficult on everybody. We're really just trying to uphold the laws and protect wetlands in the town of Townsend. And the long-term thing is to protect our groundwater. So nobody would argue with that, I don't think. But when you start putting it in, I don't know, it just makes me scared. And maybe this is a good thing to do because it clarifies it, but I don't think it will ever pass in this town if we do something like that. That's my personal opinion.
Joan, there's some discussion here at the table. Do you mind if we do discussion at the table
No,
first?
thank you. I'm having a hard time hearing you. Thank you.
I think it's just opening the can of worms.
I agree with that.
It's like, it's just like.
You gotta
Linda
speak up.
says.
She can't hear. You can't hear Joan.
No, she's having a problem right now.
Okay. Go ahead, Kevin. Can of worms. Yeah.
Yeah,
Keep going.
I think that's just opening the can of worms. It's gonna, like Linda says, I find myself in my older age agreeing with Linda a lot more than I did when I was younger. And,
Never knew how smart I really was, Kevin. That's the problem.
oh, there you go. I just think it's opening a can of worms. My
It was
opinion.
voted down at town meeting.
We went through it just a few months ago,
Why do
and
it
it
again?
didn't fly.
No.
And it wasn't only me that was upset over it.
Nope.
So I don't know.
At town meeting, it was the existing bylaw with the change that the preponderance of, that a waiver could be given and a preponderance of evidence was on the applicant. That was the portion that was voted down. Everybody thinks they voted down, or many people, I believe, think they voted down the 35-foot, but that's the part that was that the only part that was changed was that preponderance and the waiver bit. But I'm feeling more confident about our 35-foot because we've now, the town's won in a land court and in the Superior Court on the 35-foot.
Yeah,
Well,
In their
in my opinion,
bylaws.
there's no reason to change it.
right.
I think, yeah, I mean, I think clarifying potentially in chapter 150 in the regulations is a good idea because, I mean, as it stands, it's basically just a requirement for a site plan right now. Just showing a 35-foot buffer of naturally occurring vegetation or something. But it really doesn't provide any direction on
Yeah,
how to request a waiver from that, you know, if there's no other alternative or no other way to do anything with your property. It doesn't provide clarification on, well, I've owned my house for 50 years and it's all wetland and I've had that shed there forever. So I think that is a big goal that we should try to have, though, is at least providing clarification for waivers and existing lands that are already being used within that buffer area. So again, we don't need to figure that out tonight, but I think that is something worth intertwining into the bylaw or the regulations somewhere.
so
'Cause,
just,
yeah,
do
if we
you
just
find
leave it
that
at-
you come upon pre-existing buildings that are within the 35-foot buffer and?
Oh, yeah,
But
definitely.
I mean, that's pre-existing, so it's none of our, it's not up to us to change. We can't tell them to take it down. You know what I
Right, but I think if they wanted to demolish it or,
Or rebuild it.
right.
Right.
Well, it's
So,
pre-existing non-conforming, they can do it. There's nothing we can say that, they can't
Yeah, well-
expand it and make it bigger, but, and if they do, then yeah, we
Right.
have an opinion about it, but
If it's truly an area of concern, the state will come in and take it through eminent domain and tell you you can't use it. It's happened to my family. So it's just a harsh reality of it. If it's a piece of property that's valuable to the state of Massachusetts and to Mass Wildlife, you're kind of stuck.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
do
you're
you mean,
absolutely
you
right.
mean because of
the
endangered species?
Well,
Is that
they
what
tried.
it is?
what?
Are you talking about endangered species?
No, Mass Wildlife. And it comes back to the river buffer. So,
Oh,
If-
so you can't do any work within that 200-foot buffer, you mean?
oh, and they will,
Right.
they will reestablish that habitat and make it so you can't touch it,
Yep,
even if it's being used as agriculture.
yep. And I've seen that 25 times over the years. And it's, I personally think it's wrong, but like I say, I'm a.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest eye-opener.
Agricultural business and it's, I see it and, we saw it just recently in West Meadow Road. We've seen it there. We've seen it right at your family's farm.
Yeah, so,
We're seeing it more and more
Yeah.
often and more spots that, I lost a beautiful farm up in Ashby.
Yeah.
Because of that, they just came in and took it. They said, oh, we're gonna write you a check and.
Can you clarify to me what you mean by they took it? What do you mean?
eminent
Eminent
domain,
domain.
If.
Do you mean it's not your land anymore? They actually take the land away from you?
Correct.
compensate you with,
Fee simple dollars.
Yep. That happened
They
with-
give you money for it, but not much?
They have to buy it, they have to pay you, they have to pay you the
Fair
value,
market
assessed value of the property. But
Huh.
they're just gonna say, well, you're done, and we're
Yes.
just gonna write you a check, and we're gonna take control over it, and, you can use it for a few years, and then after that, you can't use it at all.
yeah, it slowly starts to
It just slowly starts to come back,
dwindle. and I think we're digressing too. Jessica's just trying
Yeah,
to,
no, that's weird.
to proofread this.
Yeah.
I think adding this might have been a little aggressive.
So
Oh, yeah, that's
that's
fine.
really just, that's the state doing stuff, right? That's not the Conservation Commission in town.
No, yeah, it's the state.
Okay.
It's just it's kind of a crude example of, you know, if it's really valuable to the environment and the state values it, they'll tell you you can't do it and they'll take it from you. So.
Take
I do have a
it, pay you
question.
minimum amount, okay.
Colby has a question.
Is the word disturb or disturbance defined anywhere? I have, there's a reason why I asked. Is it,
I don't know. It might be in the regulations, but I don't really think so. Yeah. So, I mean, that's a good point too. It's like, what does that mean? I mean, someone's allowed to like mow their grass in it or, you know, hand prune shrubs and things, but I feel like disturb is probably should maybe be interpreted synonymously with alter, which is defined, but that's a good question.
Yeah, that is a
Yeah,
good
'cause
question.
I saw that it went on to say a naturally vegetated border or something like that. Does that mean that no vegetation is allowed to be pruned or cut in that 35-foot zone?
Good question. That's
The
why we
reason
need
why I
a little
asked-
clarification.
Yeah, because it's a little bit in conflict with Massachusetts being best management practices for forestry too, because
Okay.
trees are allowed to be cut within
Correct.
uh,
You are
river
correct.
fronts and whatnot, water resource areas.
Yeah. Mike has his hand up.
Mike,
Hey, I've been here the whole time. I've just been lurking. There is a definition for land disturbance in the stormwater bylaws. It's not specifically disturb, but land disturbance is defined there.
Okay.
Is there, I don't know if anyways, so there is something of a definition, but it's not a great, it's pretty broad. I think it's, what is it? Any activity including clearing, grubbing, grading, and stockpiling that causes a change in the position or location of soil, sand, rock, gravel, or similar earth material. That's a pretty big net.
Yeah.
also wetland bylaw, not.
So
I mean,
when
not wetlands,
people
it's also in
know,
the
sorry,
planning board, the my God, I'm having
Stormwater management. Stormwater management practice.
not.
Yeah. So that's in stormwater management, which is mostly under the purview of the planning board. Minor stormwater projects are technically handled up by the conservation agent. Sorry, Jessica. Yeah, it does actually, that actually does point out a good thing, like to know how a word is defined in conservation bylaw, you have to check the planning bylaw. You know, maybe just porting over their definitions into different sections might help with a little bit of this conversation. So,
yeah.
All right, thanks. I'm going to continue lurking.
Thanks.
Okay.
Do you have anything to add to this? Just to
Um,
check in with you and.
No, I'm just listening to, you know, learning more things.
Is everyone ready to move on?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Next one, the terms floodplain. I added in land subject to flooding or inundation because they're far more frequently referred to the latter than the former. But I was on DEP's website today, and for the first reference I've ever seen, they wrote out land subject to flooding or inundation, and then in parentheses, it wrote the 100-year floodplain. So nowhere in the Wetlands Protection Act does it say that. So it was just one note on their website, but I know that was a question that came up last time. And I've also asked our circuit rider that same question before. What exactly does land subject to flooding or inundation mean? But yeah, so I think it probably means 100-year floodplain. And that information is readily available on Mass Mapper and on FEMA for Met's Mapper as well. just adding some clarification to that. And then there was just some redundancy later on in the sentence. The location of the floodplain on any plan submitted to the Conservation Commission must be determined, mapped by a registered surveyor. So I decided to take determined out. But just little details on that one. And then that's it for, yeah, I guess B, this is a good one. Conservation Commission may, in its rules and regulations, provide such other definitions or terms used in this bylaw as it deems useful in order to carry out its obligations under this bylaw. So, yeah, we can focus more on chapter 150 for some clarification things. That might be easier.
Yeah. It
In a
is.
sense, we have the ability to do so, right? But yeah, this is the second spot in our bylaws so far that says we can do this. So,
And the
that's
other
probably-
thing, doing it with the 150 is that, so when people are in disagreement of what we might put out there, they can come and there's an opportunity to educate people because they do tend to get all, you know, in their minds, something very bad is happening and you get to educate them. It's a more intimate experience too with the townspeople. Yeah.
Definitely.
Thank you for your hard work on this, Jessica.
Yeah, Jessica, this is awesome.
Thanks for listening. It's good to run it
Focusing
by.
us.
Done a great job.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Jessica.
Thank you, Jessica.
So for next time, we'll just finish it out, I guess, and then we can just maybe do like a recap. And then the following meeting, we can start hashing through chapter 150.
That would be great.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
I love great kitties.
Before, just as a side note, before everyone leaves, we need to sign the Brookline Street Bridge.
Mhm.
And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us here, so that should be enough.
Adequate, yeah.
Did we go through the rod and gun? We didn't go through
Yeah,
that
we
for
did.
the forest county plan.
Nope, we haven't gotten there yet.
Forest county plan.
Well, we gotta do,
Oh, that invoice.
yep, no, hold on.
All
3.3 is postponed.
Postpone.
3.4 approval of WPA
Yeah.
emergency certification form.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe the other
We have-
3.5 in there.
right. We have to vote on that, Jessica, but because we already voted on that Friday night.
Yeah, vote on it now because it's new, a new document. But I did what, 3 or 4 copies, so you can hand those around so everyone can flip through it real quick. And then vote to approve and sign, and then I will take care of the rest.
Do you have enough people to sign it?
We do.
We do.
Okay, good.
And this, for me to sign it now?
Yeah, sure, why not? I'm gonna actually interject with something while everyone's signing it. Jessica, in your miscellaneous materials folder, you have, or Matt, did a how to register for MACC classes.
Okay.
I can help. How to
Oh.
register for MACC classes I'm sorry, does someone need help with that?
No. So Matt kind of wrote it up, Joan.
Oh,
I
good.
think for people, I'm just wondering if Jessica could email it to everyone so that they have it. It might be in the folder on
That's a good
Drive.
idea.
I haven't checked.
I'll check with him next week because that was all him.
Fine.
So, hold
Yeah,
on. It might be in our
whatever you think.
education folder. How to read it. Yes, it's in our in the meeting materials folders every week now under the education folder. He put that in there.
Oh, nice, good.
Okay, well, did that get sorted out where it's a public link now?
I also don't know that because I was
Okay,
off
that's
last
fine.
week and that was off this week.
Oh,
So
I know.
a little delayed in communications, but I
That's
will,
fine.
yeah, that's on our list for next week to
Right, so we need a motion to approve the emergency bridge repair that's already been done on Brookline Street.
Make a motion to approve the emergency certification for the repairs on the Brookline Street
Pedestrian.
pedestrian bridge. Oh, doesn't say that.
Yeah, and,
Pedestrian bridge, repairs.
second,
Second,
roll call vote,
Pat Finley, yes.
Colby Streeter, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Hammer Clear, yes.
Kevin Smith, yes.
Joan?
Joan Savoy, yes.
Linda,
Linda?
Mac, yes.
Okay, great. It's being passed around the table now, and I'll put it back in the box when we're done, Jessica.
All right, thank you.
Have you checked on it, this week at all?
I went out there Monday before they started anything, and then I went
Yeah.
out this morning, but they were not working yet. But I think they did the majority of the work yesterday. I think they stacked the blocks yesterday, and then we're just gonna finish up some of the welding today.
Yeah, Jim said they were done, and there was just some, brush that had fallen in, I think might have been from the rain yesterday.
Yeah.
That they had cut, that they were just
Yeah.
gonna clean up.
Okay,
So,
good. Yeah, I know he was trying to remove any things like that from the stream that might hit the new temporary feature and cause further damage. So I think that was smart.
Okay, great. 3.5 MACC invoice approval for Mr. Colby Streeter, for fundamentals unit 104. Did you enjoy the class?
Yeah, it was interesting. Good teacher. And
Right now?
That's okay.
that was my first class, I think.
Congratulations,
Easy to get
Colby.
into. Was that Joan?
Yeah, it was.
I didn't hear you, Joan.
Congratulations, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
Sure.
really easy to get into and
All right, so, we have an invoice, it's $55. We need a motion to approve it. Second,
Motion to approve invoice for MACC for $55.
I'll second.
roll call vote,
Pat Finley, yes.
Colby Streeter, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Hammer Clear, yes.
Kevin Smith, yes.
Joe?
Savoy, yes.
Linda?
Mac, yes.
Great. So I'm gonna put this back in the folder. There was no form to sign with it, and Matt will take care of it, Jessica, or
Yeah. He'll,
you will,
yeah,
Mike will, someone will, Joan
Someone
will.
will.
Joan's
Yep.
done it in the past.
we'll hash it out next week. Yep.
Right. Thank you. That's in the miscellaneous materials.
Okay.
Moving on, 4.1 application withdrawal email from Town Rotting Gun Club for 46 Emory Road. It was emailed July 29th. Jessica, reference to determination of applicability, RDA submitted by the Townsend Rotting Gun Club, February 16th, 2022. This email is to officially inform the commission that the Townsend Rotting Gun Club is withdrawing previously submitted RDA as stated above. The club plans no further action with regard to the RDA at this time. Any questions? Please feel free to contact me, Bill Townsend. All right. Easy peasy. 4.2 DCR forest cutting plan and notice of intent for Barker Hill Road.
Where are they going in, Jim, on that, their access road? Their landing? I didn't see a copy of it. Are they going in right to the left of that house we just built? They got their land.
Lori,
Or are they gonna pull the wood down onto Dudley
No, they're gonna pull it down just before the house you just did.
just before the next section in there?
Yeah, so there's that little trailhead.
Yep, going up in there, make a landing in there?
Yeah. right there, they're gonna make a landing. And then they're gonna go up behind the houses.
Yeah, gonna cut all that whole little section, I think, in there. It's a couple 100,000 feet of pine, 250. I think that's what they were saying. I didn't look at the thing, but
No,
it's gonna be a couple. hundred.
Jessica, is this something you go and check on, or?
This is just notification to you guys. I did
Yeah,
ask if
that's
they
all.
need any comment or anything, but it's just under chapter 132, they are required to notify the
Yeah.
local conservation commission, so.
That's all dry ground. That
Yeah.
whole
But
section.
we can look on the plan to see if there's any crossings of wetland. And
Yeah, you
just
guys
do
looked,
our
yeah.
due diligence and see if they're gonna do whatever kind
Well,
of.
I think they have
wetland, and we make
proposed,
sure it's cool.
Linda, I think they did propose a couple of crossings up in there. I was referring to the landing area.
Yeah.
That's the site that they're clearing there is gonna, that's all perfectly dry ground in
Well,
there.
I'll run through this quick. Wetland Crossing, NA, so they will
So there's
not
none.
be
Okay,
crossing any, BR, big crossing BR bridge. So there are stream crossings. They're gonna make, build a bridge, probably just like corduroy bridge.
mhm.
ST, type of
Oh,
bottom is stony.
there's one up by, below Charlie's that runs out across there. That'd be one they're crossing. Then they must be crossing that one that dumps, down
Into the-
into, Dudley.
Yeah,
That one that dumps down into Dudley, because I see where they were cutting, because we plow, a lot of times we plow their landings for them in the winter time. And I think that there's one other crossing, I think that I believe that they're crossing that dumps water down into along Dudley.
yeah.
So there's a couple.
So yeah, it's gonna be a corduroy.
Or Matt.
Yeah, Matt.
So what did
still
you,
south.
James,
Yes,
what did you read that said there were no wetlands crossings?
so below stream crossings, well, it's in the best management practices on the first page of the form. Stream crossings up top, or it's in the best management practices section. And it says best, stream crossings, and it has all the codes, and then wetlands crossings, NA.
Okay,
Then
So-
filter strips,
okay,
indicate location on the map with 50, 100 are variable. It says
Mhm.
50.
okay.
Um,
Sorry, I'm not there to look at it, but it's good for us to look them over just to make sure.
So, no harvesting in filter strips. Harvesting will be done under dry, stable conditions. The southern half of stand 1 is a priority habitat for rare species, and will be subject to review by National Heritage.
Good.
Where'd it go? They're taking 113,000 board feet of white pine, 93,000, yeah, 113,000 board feet of white pine, 93,000 red pine, almost 41 of red oak. Black oak is 18,000,
Wow,
About 300,000 on
yeah,
275.
266.
That's a nice cut, some nice stuff in there.
good.
It needs to be cut.
Yes, it does.
Yep,
So,
okay,
and this is a long-term forest management plan.
great.
I'll make a motion to accept that cutting plan.
Just the correspondence, I don't think we have to accept
Oh,
it. It's
okay.
not even a choice.
No, you're right, because with the state, it don't matter. They're cutting it anyway.
And they need to.
Yeah,
That whole
They got
hill
a
needs
lot.
to get thin.
they got a lot of stuff in town they haven't cut.
Does it, Joan, Linda, Pat, Colby, comments, Ann, comments?
Nope.
Jessica, Nathan?
I'm good.
Everything's fine.
So. Done. 5.1 upcoming MACC classes. We all get the emails.
Yeah.
The MACC Fundamentals Extravaganza 2022 is held September 20th to October 26th. These are, I believe, all virtual. But it includes fundamentals, the 103 and the 200 courses. And again, you can go to the website to view the times and to sign up.
Plus it keeps track, website keeps track of.
Yes, you have an account, you set up an account, or they set up an account for you, and you have they track it all.
I still don't have like a password or anything like that. I don't have a lot of the info. I mean,
So Matt will be back on Monday,
okay.
so you'll have to come in and talk to him.
Okay.
But
You develop your own password.
yeah, Lindsay Martucci at MACC is the person you could call them, and they'll talk you through it.
They're very, very, very helpful. Okay, all right, I will do that. I can.
So I don't know, Toby, how hard was it for you to get your password, or
Yeah, just reach out to her and she can help you.
Okay.
so if you call them, they'll get you set up.
All right.
6.0 items for discussion at next meeting. We have towns and wetland bylaws, whatever is remaining.
I think 138-8 and 138-9. And then we have an RDA that you'll discuss.
So we'll have a site visit, I assume, for it.
Yep. Yeah, that'll be on the Monday right before our next meeting. So I'll send out
Okay.
the Monday, the 22nd. So I'll send out more details once it gets closer.
But we need more people coming to these site walks because
Yeah, for that one.
I've been,
Sorry, I'm so guilty of not going.
oh, yeah, that's my plug for this time, or shame. Please come.
That's what we need to get us out there. Little shaming.
Yeah, it's hard to vote on things
Yeah,
if
and
you don't go to the sidewalks.
if you show up, even though if you can't walk the whole thing, as long as you're there so you can see the site and see the access. I know the one on Shirley Road was difficult to hike through, and
That would be my only, I think, I'm
Yeah.
very uneven, so,
and isn't super stable either,
no.
but you don't have to feel pressured to walk the entire site, but to view it and to,
Mhm.
but I also know we're all busy, and some of us work still. All right, next meeting is Wednesday, August 24th, 2022 at 7 p.m. Board of Select Chambers, second floor. The meeting will also be held via virtual Zoom remote in accordance with COVID-19 safe meeting guidelines. And
Make
then
a motion to adjourn?
at 8:19,
Second.
Second. Oh,
roll call vote.
Kathleen, yes.
Holy shooter, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Anna Lookberry, yes.
Kevin Smith, yes.
Joan?
Jones Savoy, yes.
Linda Mac, yes.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you, everyone.